Admiral Zyra Kress stood aboard the Hegemony's flagship Eternal Dawn, her iridescent scales reflecting the holographic displays surrounding her command platform. The massive vessel had just emerged from slipspace near Saturn's rings, and Earth lay ahead like a glittering blue jewel. Another primitive world for assimilation, First Officer Nexus commented, his crystalline form pulsing with anticipation. Shall we begin the standard protocols? Kress didn't respond immediately. Something about the sensor readings bothered her. 20 years of first contact missions had given her an instinct for trouble, and right now, every nerve in her body screamed that something was wrong. Run the deep scan again, she ordered, her 4 eyes narrowing. Focus on their orbital infrastructure. The ship's quantum sensors probed Earth space, cataloging thousands of seemingly primitive satellites. Everything appeared normal, exactly what you'd expect from a Level 2 civilization on the brink of true space travel. Perhaps too normal. Admiral, the sensor officer, Lieutenant Vax, called out. I'm detecting some unusual energy fluctuations in their lunar installations. They appear to be using fusion power, but the signature is masked somehow. Kress moved closer to the display, her tail twitching with interest. Masked? Explain. It's as if. Vax paused, adjusting his sensory tendrils. It's as if they're deliberately maintaining an older power signature while running something far more advanced underneath. The bridge fell silent. In 3,000 years of expansion, the hegemony had never encountered a species that deliberately downplayed its technological capabilities. Every civilization they'd encountered had proudly displayed their achievements, often exaggerating them in hopes of appearing more advanced. Show me their communications, Kress ordered. The holographic displays filled with Earth's broadcast signals, television, radio, internet traffic. All of it suggested a species still struggling with basic spaceflight, arguing about climate change, and celebrating small steps into their solar system. Sir, Communications Officer Tella interrupted, her bioluminescent patterns showing confusion. We're detecting quantum encryption in their military channels. It's incredibly sophisticated, more advanced than our own protocols. Kress felt her scales bristle. A civilization supposedly struggling with rocket technology shouldn't have quantum encryption. She pulled up the historical analysis of Earth's development, studying the progression carefully. Look at this pattern, she said, gesturing to the technological development curve. Every other species we've encountered shows exponential growth once they reach industrial capability. These humans, their visible progress is too linear, too controlled. First Officer Nexus moved closer, his crystalline form refracting light across the bridge. You think they're hiding their true capabilities? But why? Because they're hunting, a quiet voice said from the back of the bridge. Everyone turned to face strategic analyst Ren, a member of the ancient archival race. His species had seen civilizations rise and fall for millions of years, and their insights were never ignored. Hunting? Kress asked, intrigued. Ren glided forward, his ethereal form barely substantial. Consider the pattern. A seemingly vulnerable world, broadcasting its weakness, yet beneath that facade, we detect fragments of extremely advanced technology. They're not hiding out of fear. They're setting a trap. Kress felt a chill run through her scales. Bring up all records of disappeared expeditionary forces in this sector. The data appeared, and the bridge crew gasped. In the last 1,000 years, 3 different civilizations had sent conquest fleets toward Earth. None had returned. Send the diplomatic probe, Kress ordered, her voice firm. But program it with a single message: we see beneath the surface. We come in peace. The probe launched, streaking toward Earth. Minutes later, a response appeared on their screens: Welcome to Earth, Admiral Kress. We've been waiting for someone wise enough to look deeper. Shall we talk? The message was accompanied by a data burst that broke through their most sophisticated encryptions as if they were childish puzzles. The burst contained images of vast underground cities, fleets of advanced starships hidden in dimensional pockets, and weapons technologies that made the hegemony's best defenses look primitive. "They could have destroyed us the moment we arrived," Nexus whispered. "No," Cress replied, a smile slowly spreading across her face. "They wanted to see if we were wise enough to choose peace first. Signal our acceptance of their invitation to talk. The hegemony just discovered something far more valuable than a new conquest. We found a teacher." As the Eternal Dawn moved into orbit, Cress couldn't help but admire the elegance of Earth's strategy. They had turned their greatest weakness, being a tempting target, into their greatest strength. And now, for the first time in her career, she would meet a species that had outmaneuvered the hegemony before first contact even began. The real question was, how many other secrets were they still hiding? The orbital elevator descended through Earth's atmosphere, carrying Admiral Cress and a small delegation from the hegemony toward humanity's true seat of power. Through the transparent walls, she could see the facade of primitive cities giving way to something far more extraordinary. "Remarkable," strategic analyst Ren whispered, his ethereal form flickering with excitement. "The surface cities are just a shell. Beneath the familiar skylines, vast structures of impossible architecture stretched downward. Crystalline towers merged with organic computing matrices, while streams of vehicles moved through gravity-defying transit tubes. Everything spoke of technology far beyond what Earth should possess." The elevator finally stopped in a chamber that defied physics itself. The walls seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, and Cress's enhanced senses detected energy patterns she'd never encountered before. Director Arya Patel waited for them, a tall woman with silvered hair and eyes that held centuries of knowledge. Behind her stood a diverse group of human leaders, each carrying themselves with the quiet confidence of those who had faced cosmic threats and prevailed. "Welcome to New Athens," Arya said, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting. "One of Earth's 15 underground metropolises. We thought it time to show you what humanity has become." "How?" First Officer Nexus asked, his crystalline form pulsing with confusion. "Your species shouldn't have this level of technology for at least another 1,000 years. Arya's smile held a hint of steel. "Follow me. It's time you learned about Earth's true history." They walked through corridors where matter itself seemed to ripple and flow. Holographic displays showed scenes from Earth's hidden technological evolution, but it wasn't the steady progression the hegemony had expected. 800 years ago, Arya explained, the Galactic Empire found Earth. They saw what you saw, a seemingly primitive world ripe for conquest. They attacked without warning, expecting an easy victory. The displays showed massive alien vessels descending from the sky, only to be met by weapons that shouldn't have existed. Humanity had been preparing for this moment since they first looked up at the stars. "We didn't just defeat them," Arya continued, leading them into a vast chamber filled with recovered alien technology. "We learned from them. Every piece of their technology, every scrap of their knowledge, we studied it all. But we knew others would come, so we kept our victory quiet. We buried our cities, maintained our primitive facade, and waited." Cress moved through the chamber, her scales rippling with amazement. She recognized weapons and devices from a dozen different civilizations, many of which had mysteriously disappeared after encountering Earth. The Meridian Collective came next, one of the human leaders, Defense Coordinator Jackson, added. Then the Swarm. Each time, we absorbed their technology, improved upon it, and added it to our arsenal. But we never revealed our true strength unless forced. You turned every attempted invasion into an opportunity, Ren observed, his ancient voice holding new respect. Necessity drove innovation, Arya confirmed. We knew we weren't the strongest species in the galaxy, so we had to be the smartest. Every attack made us stronger, but we never became complacent. They reached a section containing technology that made even Ren's ethereal form tremble. These are quantum phase weapons, he whispered. The theoretical designs were lost with the ancestors themselves. Not lost, Arya corrected. Hidden. The ancestors visited Earth too, long ago. They didn't try to conquer us, they tested us. We passed their trial, and they left us certain knowledge, asking only that we use it wisely. Cress felt the weight of history pressing down on her. The hegemony hadn't discovered a primitive world to conquer, they'd stumbled upon the secret inheritors of the ancestors' legacy. Why reveal this to us now, she asked. Aria's expression grew serious. Because something is coming, something that threatens all life in the galaxy. We've detected it, but even with all our combined technologies, we can't face it alone. We needed to find allies who would choose wisdom over conquest. The displays shifted, showing readings from deep space that made Cress's blood run cold. Something massive was moving between the galaxies, consuming everything in its path. This is why we tested you, Aria explained. We needed to know if the hegemony could put aside its imperial ambitions and join us as equals. The choice you made, to seek dialogue instead of conquest, proved you were ready. What happens now? Nexus asked. Now. Aria smiled, but her eyes remained serious. Now we prepare for the real war. Everything before, all our hidden technologies, all our careful deceptions, that was just practice for what's coming. The question is, will the hegemony stand with us? Cress looked at the displays again, understanding at last. Earth hadn't been hiding out of fear, they'd been preparing for this moment, waiting for allies worthy of joining them in the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen. The hegemony has conquered 1,000 worlds, Cress said slowly, but perhaps it's time we learn to do something more important, to fight alongside equals for a cause greater than empire. As if in response to her words, new holographic displays activated, showing Earth's full military might for the first time. Fleets of ships emerged from dimensional pockets, weapons platforms decloaked in orbit, and defensive systems beyond anything the hegemony had imagined revealed themselves. Earth was finally showing its true face, not as prey, but as humanity's last great fortress, preparing for a war that would determine the fate of all life in the galaxy. Deep within New Athens' restricted archives, holographic records flickered to life, showing scenes that made Admiral Cress question everything she thought she knew about galactic history. Strategic analyst Ren drifted between the displays, his ethereal form pulsing with growing agitation. Impossible, he whispered, studying records of battles that had been erased from all known histories. These archives, they show the true fate of the lost expeditions. Director Arya Patel nodded solemnly. What you're seeing is humanity's shadow war, centuries of conflicts we kept hidden from the galaxy. Each engagement taught us something new, helped us prepare for what's coming. The displays showed massive alien warships emerging from hyperspace, expecting to find a helpless Earth. Instead, they encountered carefully planned killing fields. Quantum mines disguised as debris. Gravity weapons hidden in seemingly primitive satellites. Time dilation fields that trapped entire invasion fleets in moments of endless recursion. The Zcathal never reported their defeat, Commander Hudson, Earth's military historian, explained. Their pride wouldn't allow it. So we let them retreat with their wounded pride intact, but not before we'd learned everything about their technology. New images appeared, Earth's scientists reverse engineering captured alien tech, improving it, combining it with other stolen technologies to create entirely new weapons and defenses. Each failed invasion had only made humanity stronger. The Meridian Collective tried a different approach, Arya continued, bringing up records of more recent encounters. They sent infiltrators first, thinking to subvert our leadership. But we'd been preparing for psychological warfare since our first contact with alien minds. Cress watched in amazement as the records showed human counterintelligence operations that had turned the Meridian's own psychic abilities against them. You didn't just defeat them, she realized. You made them believe they'd never even found Earth. Sometimes the best victory is the one your enemy doesn't know they've lost, Commander Hudson said with a grim smile. But all of that was just preparation. Show them the Harbinger files, Arya. The director's expression turned grave as she accessed a heavily encrypted section of the archives. The holographic displays shifted, showing something that made even Ren's ancient form shudder. 3 years ago, our deep space arrays detected this, Arya explained, as the image of a vast, dark mass took shape. It moved between the galaxies like a living shadow, consuming everything in its path. We call it the Void Hunger. It's already devoured 3 satellite galaxies, and it's heading toward the Milky Way. That's why you revealed yourselves to us, Cress realized. You need allies. More than that, Arya corrected. We need partners who understand what's truly at stake. The Void Hunger isn't just another alien invasion, it's an extinction-level threat to all life in the galaxy. Commander Hudson stepped forward, activating additional displays that showed Earth's preparations. Massive construction projects hidden in dimensional pockets. Fleets of ships incorporating technologies from a dozen different species. Weapons that could reshape reality itself. Everything we've done, every battle we've fought in secret, every technology we've stolen and improved, it was all to prepare for this, he explained. But even with everything we've built, it won't be enough. Not alone. Ren drifted closer to the displays, his ancient knowledge seeking patterns in the data. The ancestors, they knew about this, didn't they? That's why they tested humanity. Arya nodded. They left us warnings, and tools to help us prepare. But they also told us we would need to find worthy allies when the time came. That's why we tested every species that found us. We were looking for those who could see beyond conquest, who could choose wisdom over power. The hegemony has the largest fleet in known space, Cress said thoughtfully. Combined with Earth's advanced technology. We might have a chance, Commander Hudson finished. But only if we work together as true equals. No empire, no conquest, just different species fighting side by side for survival. New holographic images appeared, showing proposed designs for hybrid ships combining hegemony power systems with Earth's advanced weapons. Battle plans that merged human tactical innovations with the hegemony's strategic experience. Training programs to help both species learn from each other's strengths. This is why we maintained our deception for so long, Arya explained. We needed to be certain that when we found the right allies, we would be ready. The knowledge in these archives, the true history of Earth's rise, it can never fall into the wrong hands. Cress stood in silence for a long moment, absorbing the enormity of what she'd learned. Earth hadn't just outmaneuvered would-be conquerors, they'd been conducting a centuries-long preparation for a war that would determine the fate of all life in the galaxy. The Hegemony Council will need to be convinced, she said finally. They won't easily set aside thousands of years of expansion and conquest. Then perhaps, Arya suggested, it's time to show them what humanity can really do. Would you like to see our true defense fleet, Admiral? As they left the archives, Cress couldn't shake the feeling that she was witnessing the beginning of something unprecedented, not just an alliance between species, but a fundamental shift in how civilizations would interact in the face of an extinction-level threat. The real question was, would the rest of the galaxy be ready for the truth about humanity's hidden power? The Hegemony Council chamber hung in high orbit above their capital world, its crystalline structure reflecting the light of 3 suns. Inside, Admiral Cress stood before the assembled council, her scales shimming with tension as she presented the evidence from Earth. Supreme Counselor Thax, his massive form dominating the central podium, watched the holographic displays with growing concern. You mean to tell us that this supposedly primitive world has been deceiving the entire galaxy for centuries? Not deceiving, Excellency, Director Arya Patel corrected, stepping forward. Surviving. Preparing. Waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves. The human delegation stood calmly before the most powerful governing body in known space, their presence itself a testament to how much had changed. The chamber's quantum sensors confirmed what many counselors still couldn't believe, the humans' technology was far beyond anything they'd imagined. Show them, Cress suggested quietly. Arya nodded and activated a small device. The chamber's sophisticated security systems were instantly bypassed as new holographic displays sprang to life, showing the full extent of Earth's hidden capabilities. Several counselors gasped as they watched scenes of previous invasion forces being systematically dismantled by weapons that shouldn't have existed. 3,000 years of hegemony expansion, Counselor Vex observed, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation, and we never suspected. How many other worlds are hiding similar secrets? None, strategic analyst Ren answered, gliding forward. Earth is unique. They don't just adapt technology, they understand it, improve it, combine it in ways even the original creators never imagined. The ancestors saw this potential in them. Supreme Counselor Thax leaned forward. The ancestors? Prove this claim. Arya activated another sequence. The chamber filled with images of ancient structures buried deep beneath Earth's surface, bearing the unmistakable quantum signature of ancestor technology. But these weren't ruins, they were active, integrated into Earth's defense systems in ways that seemed impossible. We passed their test, Arya explained. They left us knowledge, but more importantly, they left us a warning. The same warning we bring to you today. The displays shifted, showing the approaching void hunger in terrifying detail. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. This wasn't just about Earth anymore, this was about survival. Even if what you say is true, Counselor Vex argued, why should the hegemony ally with a species that has deceived us? How can we trust you? Because we're here, Commander Hudson replied simply. We could have remained hidden. Instead, we're offering you everything we know, every technology we've developed, every lesson we've learned. Not as subjects, but as equals. Equals. Thax's voice carried centuries of imperial authority. The hegemony does not recognize equals. We conquer. We rule. That is our way. Then the galaxy will die, Arya said quietly. The chamber's temperature seemed to drop as she activated one final display, a simulation showing the void hunger's projected path. Your empire, our world, everything we've built, none of it will matter if we don't stand together. Admiral Kress moved to stand beside the human delegation. Supreme Counselor, I've seen Earth's true strength. They don't need our help to survive, they've proven that for centuries. They're offering us a choice, evolve beyond conquest or face extinction together. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some counselors argued for immediate military action against Earth. Others saw the opportunity being offered. Through it all, the human delegation waited patiently, their calm presence a sharp contrast to the hegemony's agitation. Finally, Supreme Counselor Thax raised his hand for silence. Director Patel, you speak of alliance, of working together as equals. What exactly are you proposing? Arya stepped forward, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. A new organization. Not an empire, but a federation of free worlds. Earth will share all our technology, all our knowledge. In return, we combine our strengths to face what's coming. Together. And if we refuse? Then we'll fight the void hunger alone, she replied simply. And you'll watch from your empire as it devours everything you've built, one world at a time. The silence that followed was deafening. 3,000 years of hegemony history hung in the balance. An empire built on conquest faced its greatest challenge, not defeat, but the necessity of change. Show us, Thax said finally. Show us everything. As Arya began the full presentation of Earth's capabilities and their plans for facing the void hunger, Admiral Kress felt a profound shift in the chamber's atmosphere. The Hegemony Council wasn't just considering an alliance, they were witnessing the birth of a new era in galactic history. The question wasn't whether humanity could be trusted. The question was whether the hegemony could rise above its imperial nature to become something greater, true partners in the fight for survival. And in the depths of space, the void hunger continued its inexorable approach, unaware that its next meal was preparing a welcome it would never forget. 10 years after the historic alliance between Earth and the hegemony, the combined fleet assembled at the edge of the Milky Way. Thousands of ships stretched across space, hegemony dreadnoughts enhanced with Earth's advanced technology, human vessels incorporating the best of both civilizations' innovations, and entirely new designs born from their collaboration. Admiral Kress stood on the bridge of the Unity, the first ship built jointly by human and hegemony engineers. Director Arya Patel, now showing slight signs of age, stood beside her. Both leaders watched as the final preparations were completed for humanity's greatest battle. The void hunger will reach our detection grid in 6 hours, strategic analyst Ren reported, his ethereal form more substantial now thanks to human bioenhancement technology. All fleet elements report ready. Who would have thought, Kress mused, her scales reflecting the light of distant stars, that my routine scouting mission would lead to this. The past decade had transformed both civilizations. The hegemony had abandoned its imperial ambitions, evolving into something new. Earth had finally stepped out of the shadows, sharing its technological miracles with trusted allies. Together, they had prepared for this moment. Launch the quantum beacons, Arya ordered. Across the vast fleet, devices of impossible complexity activated, creating a web of interconnected fields that would prevent the void hunger from using its favorite tactic, consuming space itself. The massive enemy approached like a living darkness, larger than anything natural in the universe. But this time, it faced an enemy prepared for its coming. This time, humanity wasn't hiding. All ships, battle positions, Commander Hudson's voice echoed across the fleet channels. Now the supreme commander of the combined forces, he had spent years preparing for this moment. Remember your training. Together we stand. The void hunger struck first, tentacles of dark energy reaching for the fleet. But where previous civilizations had fallen instantly to its attack, the combined fleet held firm. Quantum shields based on ancestor technology flared to life. Weapons drawing power from multiple dimensions opened fire. Second wave, execute Operation Lightbringer, Arya commanded. 1,000 ships that had been hidden in pocket dimensions suddenly appeared behind the entity, trapping it in a crossfire of technologies it had never encountered. The battle that followed would be remembered for millennia. The void hunger fought with the fury of something that had never known defeat, but for the first time in its ancient existence, it faced opponents who had spent centuries preparing specifically for this confrontation. Human ingenuity combined with hegemony power. Ships danced through space in maneuvers that defied physics, wielding weapons that could rewrite reality itself. Every time the void hunger adapted to one strategy, the fleet shifted to another, using techniques drawn from a dozen different species' military traditions. It's weakening, Ren reported, monitoring quantum fluctuations in the entity's structure. The containment field is working. The void hunger's massive form began to collapse in on itself, unable to consume space that had been reinforced with combined human hegemony technology. Its darkness began to fade, revealing the true nature of what had terrorized galaxies for eons, not a god, not an unstoppable force, but simply another form of life that could be understood and defeated. All ships, execute final protocol, Kress ordered. The entire fleet activated their reality drives simultaneously, creating a cascade effect that the human scientists had theorized but never tested at this scale. Space itself seemed to fold, carrying the void hunger into a pocket universe from which there would be no escape. As the last traces of darkness faded, a cheer went up across the fleet. Humanity and the hegemony had faced extinction together and emerged victorious. But everyone knew this was more than just a military victory. It was proof that different species could achieve more together than they ever could through conquest and domination. And now? Kress asked quietly, turning to her human friend. Arya smiled, looking out at the combined fleet that represented the future of galactic civilization. Now we build something new. There are more threats out there, more challenges to face. But we'll face them together, as equals. The Unity turned toward home, leading a fleet that had made history. Behind them, the pocket universe containing the void hunger collapsed in on itself, sealed forever by technologies that no single species could have developed alone. In the years that followed, the alliance between Earth and the hegemony became the foundation for a new galactic society. Other species, inspired by their example, joined what became known as the Federation of Free Worlds. Earth's long deception was remembered not as a lie, but as the patience of a species that understood the true meaning of strength, the wisdom to wait, to prepare, and to choose cooperation over conquest. And somewhere in the vast archives beneath New Athens, the ancestors' final message glowed with renewed meaning: the greatest power lies not in the ability to conquer worlds, but in the wisdom to bring them together. The galaxy had changed forever, and it all began with a single warning from Earth to an empire that was wise enough to listen.